Everyone talks about the thrill of riding, the freedom, the roar, the lifestyle. But let's be real, there's another side to motorcycles that nobody posts about. The awkward, annoying, or just plain frustrating moments every rider secretly experiences but never admits. Today, we're breaking that silence, because if you've ever felt alone in your helmet, trust me, you're not. Posting about your bike online can ruin the fun. You finally got that perfect photo of your motorcycle, parked just right, glinting in the late afternoon sun, maybe a scenic backdrop behind it. You feel proud, you love your bike, so naturally you share it online. But almost instantly, the keyboard warriors descend. That exhaust is junk. Why didn't you get the R version? Those tires? Rookie mistake. Oh, you should have just bought an insert totally different bike here. It doesn't matter where you post. Instagram, Reddit, Facebook groups, someone's got something to say. And suddenly, your excitement fades into second guessing. Maybe you start thinking, should I have gone with a different setup? Or worse, am I even a real rider to these people? The truth is, most of those people aren't even riding. They're sitting at home, passing judgment from behind a screen. And yet, their voices can get in your head. So here's the thing, you ride your bike for you. Not for strangers, not for clout, just because you love it. Customizing it, showing it off, upgrading it, that's personal. You don't need a stranger's approval to enjoy your own machine. In 2025, it's still true. Post with pride and scroll past the noise. Chances are, most of your critics would stall out trying to ride what you do every weekend. Riding at night isn't as cool as it looks. There's something cinematic about night riding. The glow of your headlights slicing through darkness, empty roads ahead, neon signs flickering as you cruise under street lamps. On Instagram or YouTube, it looks like pure freedom. But in reality, night riding can be stressful and borderline sketchy. Your headlight, no matter how high-end, only shows so much. Everything outside that beam is pitch black. Turns come at you faster than expected, your eyes constantly scanning for motion. A deer, a pothole, an oil slick. And then there's the glare. Tall trucks with high beams feel like they're burning your retinas. Even tinted visors don't help. Sometimes you're riding almost blind for a few seconds, and that's all it takes for something to go wrong. Not to mention the nerves. Your mind's racing, not with the thrill of the ride, but with low-key anxiety. What's hiding beyond that next bend? Was that a shadow or a raccoon? Let's be honest, riding at night looks cooler than it feels. Sure, some riders say they love the peace and quiet, but deep down, even they know the risks feel dialed up once the sun goes down. So if you've ever white-knuckled your bars on a night ride and wondered why you even did it, you're not alone. Most riders have been there. They just don't talk about it. Sometimes you just don't feel like riding. The weather's perfect, your bike is clean, the battery's charged, tires are full, and your riding jacket is hanging by the door. There's no reason not to go out, except you just don't feel like it. And that's something most riders don't admit. Riding is supposed to be a passion, right? Your escape, your identity. So when you hesitate, even for a second, it feels like you're betraying that identity. But here's the truth, it's completely normal. Sometimes you're just mentally drained. Maybe it's been a long week. Maybe you're not in the mood to gear up, navigate traffic, or stay alert for hours. And sure, you'll scroll past posts of other riders out carving back roads and feel a twinge of guilt. But guilt has no place on a motorcycle. Riding isn't about proving you always want to ride. It's about being honest with yourself. If you're not mentally in it, there's no shame in parking the bike and choosing rest. In fact, that decision makes you a smarter, safer rider. It's 2025. Burnout is real. Don't force the throttle when your mind's on empty. Dropping your bike while stopped feels worse than it should. It happens in an instant. You're stopped. Maybe in a parking lot. Maybe at a gas station. You go to put your foot down, but the ground's uneven. Or you misjudge the weight. Or your boot slips just slightly. And down it goes. The bike isn't even moving. You're standing still. But that moment feels like the biggest fail ever. The noise is deafening, your heart sinks, and your first thought is, who saw that? The truth is, every rider drops their bike at least once, especially when they're standing still. It doesn't matter if it's your first week or your fifth year. And while the damage is usually minor, a scratched mirror, a bent lever, the damage to your ego hits way harder. You'll replay it over and over, wondering what you could have done differently. You'll feel embarrassed, like you're not real enough as a rider. But here's the thing, dropping your bike doesn't make you a bad rider. It makes you a rider, period. In fact, most seasoned motorcyclists will tell you, If you haven't dropped it, you just haven't ridden enough. So laugh it off, pick it up correctly, and ride on. Everyone's been there. They just won't post about it. Riding gear sucks when it's hot. You suit up, leather jacket, armored gloves, heavy-duty pants, boots. You look like a superhero stepping out of a movie. You feel invincible. 5 minutes later, you feel like you're baking alive. Your back is drenched. Your gloves are sticky. Your jacket feels like a sauna strapped to your body. And while you're stuck at a red light with zero wind, the heat just builds. Every fiber of you is screaming, "I'd rather be in a t-shirt right now." But you won't say that out loud, because at GAT, all the gear, all the time, is a badge of honor. You're supposed to suffer through it for the sake of safety. And yeah, safety matters. But pretending you're not miserable in full gear on a 90-degree day? That's just acting. Even mesh jackets in 2025, which claim to be breathable, feel like wearing a hairdryer in slow traffic. And while vents and hydration packs help, they don't cancel out the simple fact. Protective gear isn't made for comfort. It's made for impact. So if you've ever fantasized about one short ride with no jacket just for a breeze on your arms, don't feel guilty. Every rider's had that same thought. What matters is that you keep suiting up anyway. Riding with a passenger feels more like work than fun. Sharing the ride is the best part, they say. And sure, it sounds romantic. You picture two helmets bobbing together, laughter in your Cena intercoms, leaning through turns like you're one. But reality? It's more like balancing a sack of potatoes on a roller coaster. Suddenly, your bike feels twice as heavy. Acceleration is sluggish, braking takes longer, and cornering. Now you're thinking not just about your line, but about the timing of their lean. If they shift their weight mid-turn, even just a little, it throws everything off. And the physical part isn't much better. Helmets knock together. Your passenger grabs too tight or too loose. They lean back when you speed up or brace weird when you brake. You smile and pretend it's all good, because you want them to enjoy it. You want to be the cool, confident rider who's got it all under control. But inside, you're wishing you were riding solo, just for a bit, just to feel free again. There's no shame in admitting that two-up riding isn't magical for everyone. It's a trade-off. You do it because you care, not because it's easier, smoother, or more fun. In truth, some of the best rides happen when there's no one on the back seat. You secretly hate it when strangers ask about your bike. You've just pulled in. Helmet off, gloves off, sweat drying, maybe a cold drink in hand. Then, from across the parking lot, you hear, "Hey, what kind of bike is that?" You brace yourself. The questions roll in fast. How fast does it go? Isn't that dangerous? My cousin had a Harley once. He lost a leg. Oh wow, I thought it was a Ninja. Suddenly you're playing ambassador for motorcycles, when really, all you wanted was to drink your coffee and not talk. And the worst part? Sometimes they touch your bike, without asking, with sticky hands. Or worse, they misidentify it entirely and argue with you about it. Of course, you smile, you nod, you answer politely, because riders are supposed to be chill, approachable, friendly. But inside, you're begging for a force field. It's not that you hate people. It's that sometimes you just want to be left alone with your machine, quietly. No explaining. No, how much did it cost? No, is it hard to ride? Just a peaceful stop before your next leg. If you've ever faked a phone call to dodge a random parking lot convo, you're not rude. You're just a rider trying to enjoy the ride without being a tour guide. Riding in the rain feels like a chore, not a badge of honor. Some riders wear it like a medal. I ride in all weather. Rain makes you better. It builds character. Yeah, but it also soaks your socks, numbs your fingers, and turns every painted line into a slick death trap. Even in 2025, with waterproof gear that's supposedly breathable and seam-sealed, rain still finds a way in. Your gloves feel like wet towels. Your boots slosh with every step. Your visor fogs up no matter what anti-fog insert you use. And good luck seeing through the glare of taillights bouncing off wet pavement. Every second on a wet road is one more second of tension. Don't lock the brakes. Don't hydroplane. Is that a puddle or a pothole? But you'll never admit how much it drains you. Because real riders aren't supposed to complain. You're expected to push through, prove your toughness. And maybe you do, but that doesn't mean you enjoy it. Let's be honest. Riding in the rain sucks. You do it when you have to. Not because it's fun, but because you're committed. And that's enough. No need to pretend you love it. No one actually does. Riding with better riders can be mentally exhausting. You say it's motivating. You say it makes you sharper. You say you like the challenge. But deep down, when you're riding with people who are clearly more skilled, it's not always inspiring. It's stressful. They take corners faster. Their throttle control is smoother. They brake later, accelerate harder, and barely seem to try. Meanwhile, you're constantly checking your mirrors, wondering if you're holding them up. You try to match their pace without overreaching, but it feels like a mental chess match the entire time. And by the time you reach the next stop, you're worn out, pretending you're fine. You smile. You say, "That was a good pace, right?" But what you really want is a deep breath and a slower ride home. Riding doesn't always have to be a test. It's okay to roll with people at your level, or even below it, just to enjoy the road without pressure. Not every ride has to be a proving ground. And here's a secret. Even those faster riders you look up to, they've felt the same way when riding with someone better. Long rides can get boring, and that's okay. Riding is supposed to be thrilling, liberating. The open road, the wind, the hum of the engine. It's freedom, right? Sure. But after a few hours, it's also kind of repetitive. You're locked into a straight highway with nothing but farmland. Your playlist has looped twice. Your knees ache. Your visor's fogging. And suddenly your mind drifts. Did I pay that bill? What should I eat tonight? Did I leave the garage door open? Now you're not in the moment. You're in your head. But instead of admitting you're bored, you power through. Because riders are supposed to love every mile. The truth? Even passionate riders get bored on long trips. It doesn't mean the ride isn't worth it. It just means you're human. Not every moment has to be magical. The great rides are often a few amazing minutes spread across hours of okay. And that's fine. Nobody actually enjoys every single mile, especially not behind a logging truck doing 35 with no shoulder to pass. Helmets can feel like a personal sauna. You'd never ride without it. You defend it online. You encourage new riders to wear one. But sometimes, even the most seasoned rider has thought, "I can't wait to get this thing off my head." On a hot day, in slow traffic, with the sun beating down, your helmet becomes a padded pressure cooker. Your scalp's sweaty, your jaw is tight. And even when you crack the visor, it's like breathing warm soup. Your ears ache, your forehead's red, and maybe, just maybe, you've thought about loosening the strap at a red light. Don't worry, we won't tell. And when you finally stop, lift it off, and feel that first rush of fresh air, it's almost spiritual, like your whole body exhales. It's not about ditching gear, it's about admitting that even essential gear isn't always comfortable, especially in 2025 when helmet tech is better, but not magic. Cooling liners help, but they don't rewrite physics. Every rider at some point has hated their helmet. That doesn't make you reckless, it makes you real. You've wondered if you even look like you belong on a bike. You've got the license, you've got the gear, you've got the bike. But then one day, maybe while walking past a window or seeing a photo of yourself riding, it hits you. Do I even look like a rider? Maybe you think you're too short, too heavy, too stiff, too old. Maybe your gear fits weird. Maybe your helmet looks too big. And suddenly, your confidence starts to flicker. It's not about vanity, it's about belonging. Because the image of a real rider is everywhere. In ads, on social media, in your head. Perfect posture, flowing lines, lean angles, effortless swagger. But here's what no one tells you. Every rider looks awkward sometimes. Yes, even the pros. That nervous feeling, that quiet self-doubt, it's part of the journey. Every rider has had that moment where they wondered if they fit the image. But what actually matters isn't how you look on the bike. It's that you ride it. That's what makes you a motorcyclist. Period. Riding is one of the most incredible things you can do, but it isn't perfect. And that's exactly what makes it real. Every rider has their own quiet frustrations, second guesses, or days when the magic just isn't there. And that's okay. The important thing is that we keep riding, learning, and laughing about it together. So if you've ever felt any of these things, you're not weak. You're one of us. Drop a comment with your own unspoken truth. Hit like if you've ever felt seen, and subscribe for more brutally honest takes from the road.